So, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the road to the NHL can be short, can be long, or very long. Now, this gentleman, the pride of Rouyn, Noranda, Quebec, born February 1st, 38, had to pay his dues in many leagues before making the NHL with the Rangers in Pittsburgh. But Bob Blackburn was a very dedicated, kind of a nice stay-at-home defenseman that was a big part of the NHL 1960s, early 70s, 5'11", 180. Now, he first came to major prominence with the Providence Reds of the AHL in 1960, where he had 2 assists in 37 games. He also played that year with the Kingston Frontenacs of the EPHL, where he had 7 assists in 27 games. But from then on, it was a good career with Providence in the minors. He played between 61 and 66, with 50, 64, 47, 70, 67, and 27 games, and it was a big part of the what he called the veteran lineup of Providence when they were trying to be one of the most popular and most competitive squads in the NHL. But 66 was a little bit different, ladies and gentlemen. He decided to go over to the WHL with the Vancouver Canucks, the original version. We had 6 points in 28 games in the 66 campaign, 7 games in the playoffs. Full season with Vancouver in 67, he had 13 points in 69 games, scoring 2 goals, with 4 assists in 8 playoff contests. 68 with the Buffalo Bisons of the AHL, he had 17 points in 69 games. But fortunately that year he had his first NHL action, 11 games with the Rangers. The next season he had 11 games with the Rangers while also playing with the Bisons, 18 points in 58 games. 1970, back to the AHL with the Baltimore Clippers, but of course he got the big break with the Pittsburgh Penguins, who were using a lot of experienced defensemen on their roster. He had 60 games with the Pens in 1970 with 11 points, including 4 goals, 6 playoff contests. 71 with Pittsburgh. Again, his last season in NHL, 9 points in 64 games, including 4 goals, and again, a very prominent player, two-way player for the Penguins. Now, 72 with the Rochester Americans, his last AHL season, 18 points in 64 games, including 7 goals. Now, final NHL totals, 8 goals, 12 assists for 20 points, in 135 games, 105 minutes and penalties, and 4 minutes and penalties in 6 playoff games. Unfortunately, Bob passed away in Sudbury on October 24th, 2016. But the great news is, ladies and gentlemen, that he survived the AHL wars, got in the NHL, and basically made Pittsburgh a better defensive team. And Pittsburgh, was rough in that Western Conference side back in the day, ladies and gentlemen. The Flyers and the Blues and everybody else. Every game was a struggle for Pittsburgh because they weren't scoring many goals, but they weren't really a team that could afford to give up many either. So it was a defensive struggle every game, and he was a very talented guy. So this request comes our great follower of the channel, Patrick Maresca. We really appreciate his request. This is a series of 3 he asked for on former NHLers with Pittsburgh in the late 60s, mostly defensemen. The next one will be a name you could probably recognize if you're a WHL Major Junior fan, but we don't want to give it away too much. Thanks for listening. Bye.